In the mountains of Kakheti, where vineyards climb the stone terraces and morning bells rise with the mist above the village, there lived an old winemaker named Elizbar. His wines were praised far beyond the valley. Merchants carried his barrels to Tbilisi, and some even as far as the Black Sea. Yet people valued him not only for his wine, but also for his wisdom. One day, a young shepherd named Nodar came to him. He was strong and quick, with bright eyes, but restlessness lived in his heart. Sitting on the stone bench beside the vineyard, he bowed low. "Master," he said, "I do not understand people. When I return from the fields with a good harvest or bring my sheep home in their finest form, the neighbors smile at me. But in their eyes, I see something else. Coldness, envy. And when misfortune strikes me, suddenly they grow talkative, even cheerful. Why is that? How can I recognize envy?" Elizbar poured fresh wine into clay cups, placed hot shoti bread and a piece of sulguni on the table. He gazed at the green mountains in silence, then said, "Envy is rust, my son. It eats not the iron from without, but from within. Let me tell you 3 stories. In each, you will see how envy reveals itself. When I was young, I had a neighbor, Georgi. We grew up together, learning side by side how to tend the vines. But my harvests always turned out sweeter, my wine softer. One day a prince from Tel Aviv visited. He tasted my wine and said, 'Elizbar, your vines know the song of the sun.' I blushed at his praise, but I saw Georgi turn away, lips pressed tight. From that day, his words changed. He no longer said, 'Your grapes are good.' Instead, 'Too sweet, you must pick them too early.' When guests praised my barrels, he would add, 'Yes, but I hear they don't keep long.'" Nodar frowned. "So envy shows itself when a man cannot share your joy?" Elizbar nodded. "Indeed, if the heart is dark, it will find a flaw, even in the sun. The envious man wears tinted glasses. Whatever light you have, he twists into shadow. In our village lived a blacksmith, David. His hands were like stone, his heart as hot as coal. I often helped him, bringing iron, listening to his tales. When I was first learning my craft, I gifted him a small barrel of wine. He drank and said, 'You are a good friend, Elizbar, but your wine is too simple, not fit for nobles.' I felt ashamed, but a month later I learned he was pouring it for his guests, who exclaimed, 'The finest wine.' Then I understood. He belittled me to my face, yet in secret enjoyed the fruits of my labor." "So envy takes, but does not honor?" asked Nodar. "Yes," said Elizbar. "Envy diminishes openly, but consumes greedily in the shadows. It denies value, yet feeds on it." When I was young, a singer named Lavan came to our village. His voice was like a spring, clear, bright. We would gather at night, listening as people laughed and wept at his songs. But there was a man named Merab. He could not sing, yet longed to be admired. Whenever Lavan began, Merab would interrupt. "Do you hear him falter? Is that a real voice? In Tbilisi, there are true singers." And yet, he never left. He stayed through every song, only to whisper afterwards, "Nothing special." Nodar thought aloud. "So envy never departs. It stays even when it suffers to watch?" Elizbar nodded. "Exactly. Envy lingers, like a moth drawn to the flame, not to be warmed, but to put it out." The sun was sinking. The vines cast long shadows. Elizbar rose, lifted his cup, and spoke a final toast. "My son, remember this. Envy reveals itself when a man cannot rejoice in your light, but searches only for the stain. When he accepts your gifts, but denies their worth. When he stays near you, yet insists you are nothing." Nodar listened, and something in his heart grew clear. He understood. Another's words should never decide who he is, nor what he is worth. Elizbar finished his wine and added softly, "But know this too. Envy is also a form of recognition. No one envies the empty. Envy belongs only to those who carry light." That night, Nodar walked home. On the path, he met a neighbor who smirked and said, "So, your sheep all came back safe again? Must be a fluke." Nodar smiled. Now he knew. It was no fluke. It was envy, and it no longer wounded him. It reminded him that in his hands, there was something of real value.